Hello friends, welcome to Study IQ. I am your friend Rahul Saigaonkar and today we are going to discuss about a very interesting topic of interstate water dispute. You can see the news here, the 9,000 crore Kaveri Reservoir project. We are going to talk here about the Mekedatu project, which has become a bone of contention again between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. We know that Karnataka and Tamil Nadu have been at loggerheads almost for 50 years now over the entire Kaveri issue. In fact, this is a century-old issue itself. We'll talk about the entire Kaveri issue between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, and at the end, we'll talk about this Mekedatu project, which has become a bone of contention in the recent times. But before we begin the discussion from exam perspective, Mekedatu project, it is being built on a deep gorge which is situated at the confluence of river Kaveri and its tributary Arkavati. Please remember, it comes at the confluence of Kaveri and Arkavati in the Ramnagar district in Karnataka. So let's understand the nuances with respect to interstate water dispute in India. And at the end, let's try to find out a solution. I have a question for you also, which you can answer in the comment section. Let's begin our discussion. As I said, I am your friend Rahul Saigaonkar. You can follow me on this particular ID @Rahul Sai 222. And if you're preparing for any state PSC examination, do visit studyiq.com or download the app from Google Play Store to know more. We have programs running for Tamil Nadu PSC as well as the Karnataka PSC also. Right. Let's talk about the in general issues of interstate water dispute. Now, we all know that India is a federal setup. Now, what is the meaning of a federation? That there is a central government and there are state governments which derive their powers from the constitution itself, isn't it? So, there is a tussle going on between center and the state always. But if you look at interstate, that means, are there any issues between the state or among the states? For instance, here we are going to talk about Tamil Nadu and Karnataka at length, but we have seen so many issues emerging between the states also, especially when it comes to water. We know that the water has been an issue of livelihood, but it has also become an issue of politics of late. So there have been a lot of issues going on. For instance, there is Ravi and BS issue between Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. There is Narmada issue between MP, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Rajasthan. There is issue of Krishna between Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra. And the famous Kaveri dispute between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka majorly, although other states have very minor stakes, but the issue surrounds mostly between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka itself. Now, if we look at the problems in general, see, let's talk about 1947. Do you think there were no problems before 1947? As I told you, this Kaveri issue is almost a century-old issue. Now, before 1947, if you look at the map of India, you will see that on one side, there are provinces and on the other side, you will see the princely states, right? There were 552 princely states. Now, the same issue here, Kaveri issue, it cropped up during the British era. And in general, whenever the water issue came up during the British era, it was the British provinces that gained a better deal. Now, the same thing happened with Madras also initially. Madras was a province under the British and Karnataka was basically the state of Mysore before independence. But after independence, to avoid such things itself, our constitution makers, the brightest minds in the Constituent Assembly, they came up with certain solutions to resolve the issues of interstate water disputes. They did know that India had a lot of diversity. It was a nascent country. They gave more and more powers to the central government. That means they gave more authority and responsibility to the central government to resolve these interstate water disputes. And what clarity did they bring in the constitution? If you look at the Indian constitution, for regulation of water and the water resources in Schedule 7, under which we find three lists, the state center list, the state list and the concurrent list. In the state list, the entry 17 talks about the regulation of water, but again, minor projects like water supply, minor irrigation projects, canal, drainage, embankments, all these things, they come under the state government. Please remember this. That means if a state wants to build a dam, an anecut or embankment, they can do it. But under entry 56 of the union list, the powers for development of an interstate river have been given to the center. That means there is a duty of state also and center also with respect to the development of rivers. For irrigation purpose, it's state. For development of interstate river, it's center. Apart from that, the constitution makers also give powers to the parliament under Article 262. And if you're preparing for some competitive exam, do remember this article. Article 262 relates to the interstate water disputes, where the parliament has the powers to provide for adjudication of any water dispute between the states. Now, in pursuance of this particular power under Article 262, the Indian Parliament enacted two specific laws. Now, one is the River Board Act of 1956, under which the Union government can create a river board for development of interstate rivers. Although no development has taken over this particular act, no board has been set up as of now. So the performance of the central government is under scrutiny. In fact, the performance of central government has been dismal when it comes to interstate water disputes. Apart from that, another act did come, Interstate Water Dispute Act 1956. Now, a very important thing to observe here is our constitution came in 1950, right? But these acts came in 1956. Now, there is an answer to that also. Why? In 1956, the State Reorganization Act was also passed. I hope you remember this, because of which the Interstate Water Dispute also came. Now, what are the rules and regulations under this Interstate Water Dispute Act of 1956? It's very simple. Say, let's take the case study of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, which we are discussing. On one side, there is Tamil Nadu, on the other side, there is Karnataka. If a dispute brews between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, then any one of the state, either one of the state, they can directly go to the central government. They can request an arbitration, some sort of reconciliation, or some sort of a tribunal-based decision making. Say there is a water dispute between two states. Tamil Nadu can request to the central government, please resolve the issue. The government has the duty. You can read here that the union government should first try to resolve the issue by consultation, and if it is not possible by consultation, then create a tribunal. A tribunal is basically a court which will give a verdict regarding water sharing. And please remember, this tribunal's decision would be final, and Supreme Court shall not question the award or the formula of the tribunal. This is the provision of 1956 Act. Now, based on this particular backdrop or the knowledge, let's talk about the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu issue. As you know, the Kaveri River, it flows through Karnataka. It begins in Karnataka. It basically starts in Talakaveri in Kodagu district in Karnataka, and it flows through Karnataka, through Mysore, and then eventually it reaches to Tamil Nadu and then drains into the Bay of Bengal. So what do we understand here? The two major parties are Karnataka and Madras. But if you look at the issue is some sort of a drama which is going on for a very, very long time. When did it start? It started in 1892. Kaveri River dispute began between the Madras Presidency, which was under the British rule, and the princely state of Mysore, which was under the Vodayars. Right? Now, why 1892? If you remember, during this time, the great Diwans of Mysore, they started modernization in Mysore, and one of the prominent Diwan was Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, on whose birthday we celebrate the Engineers Day, isn't it? So, at that time, modernization began, and Karnataka decided to build the Krishnaraja Sagar Dam. Now, over this, the dispute began. Initially, from 1892 till the beginning of the 20th century, there was an arbitration, and the arbitration order, it went into the favor of Karnataka, which was again challenged. And finally, in 1924, an agreement was reached between state of Mysore and the Madras province, and where the Mysore state was allowed to build the KRS dam near the Kannambadi village. And this agreement, it basically decided the water sharing between Karnataka and Madras at that time, and the agreement was valid for 50 years. Now, if you look at this particular year, 1924, 50 years to it would be 1974. So, the agreement was about to expire in 1974. Now, even before the expiration, Tamil Nadu government had requested the central government in 1970 itself to resolve the Kaveri dispute or bring out a new sharing agreement, which did not happen. Eventually, in 1986, Tamil Nadu approached the central government to set up a tribunal for the dispute. As I told you, in 1974, the agreement expired. The government initially tried for consultation, but that did not happen. Please try to remember that the issue started in 1970s, but eventually in 1990, a Kaveri Water Disputes Tribunal was set up under the chairmanship of Justice Chitatosh Mukherjee. So almost 2 decades had passed, but if you look at this particular period from 1970s to 1990, in these 15 to 20 years, what Karnataka and Tamil Nadu have done? They have gone for more and more development on their side of the river. So they have built many dams, embankments, anicuttes to basically legitimize their claim over the waters, which has further complicated the issue with respect to the order. So finally, where we are in 1990, a water dispute tribunal was set up. Now, very soon, the next year itself, in 1991, the Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal, they gave an interim order. Please remember, it was an interim order where they ordered Karnataka to release 205 TMC feet of water to Tamil Nadu and also not to increase the irrigated area from this particular figure. Again, as soon as this happened, the Karnataka government did not accept this order. Karnataka passed an ordinance to nullify the order. This was challenged in the Supreme Court. Now, the question arises. In the 1956 Act, it is clearly suggested that the Supreme Courts are barred from taking any case with respect to interstate water dispute. But people have approached the Supreme Court under different avenues. For instance, individuals have approached under Article 21 violation, seeking for remedies, basically constitutional remedies for the violation of their right to personal life and liberty. Also, both Madras or both Tamil Nadu as well as Karnataka, they have approached under Article 136, which pertains to the special leave petition. And they have eventually filed cases in Supreme Court. Supreme Court struck down the ordinance by Karnataka and it told that the Kaveri Water Dispute Award has to be implemented. So, and to implement this particular order, after 6 to 7 years in 1998, the Kaveri River Authority was set up for implementation of the order. So, implementation did not happen. Eventually, in 2002, the Kaveri River Authority, it directed Karnataka to release 9,000 cusecs of water per day to Tamil Nadu. Again, which was not adhered to. So, the issue lingered on from 1990. The Water Tribunal was set up, an interim order which was not adhered to. Finally, in 2007, a final order came of the Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal, where allocation was made 30 TMC feet for Kerala, 270 TMC feet for Karnataka and 419 TMC feet for Tamil Nadu and some amount for Puducherry also. Again, what about the implementation of the order? The final order came in 2007, but it was eventually notified by the center in 2013, again on the direction of the Supreme Court, which was not adhered to. Now the question arises, what if the Supreme Court order is not complied, or what if the tribunal order is not complied? Can we start contempt of court proceeding against the state, which would be very unceremonious, isn't it? So it's an issue of federalism. It's an issue of competitive federalism in India, where two states are fighting for more and more share of water. So eventually, to ensure that the water is released, Tamil Nadu sought the help of Supreme Court again, where they asked that the Supreme Court should direct the Water Ministry to constitute Kaveri Management Board so that Karnataka can comply with these orders. In fact, in the same year, Tamil Nadu also sought for damages, 2,480 crore from Karnataka. Again, in 2016, Tamil Nadu filed another petition in Supreme Court seeking Karnataka to release waters, in which the Supreme Court ordered Karnataka to release a limited amount of water for a limited period, 12,000 cusecs per day till 20th September 2026. So the matter is sub judice. The problem was going on. Finally, everybody thought that there was an end to the century-old wrangle between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka when the Supreme Court gave a final verdict. Now, what was the final verdict? The split was made. Here, 404 TMC feet was allocated to Tamil Nadu. Earlier, the Water Tribunal Award was 419. Karnataka got 285, 15 TMC feet higher than the previous order. Again, the orders have not been complied. The issue is still lingering on and on. Everybody thought that the issue would be resolved once the Supreme Court verdict came. That did not happen. Now, please remember, there are multiple issues in India. I told you the big problem is with the Interstate Water Dispute Act 1956, where initially there was no timeline to set up a tribunal. But again, in 2002, an amendment was made to this where a timeline was added that within few years, the dispute had to be resolved. But the case study here of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, it clearly highlights that there are some issues with interstate water dispute in India which need to be resolved. And to resolve this particular problem, the Modi government has brought the Interstate Water Dispute Amendment Act, which is still pending in the parliament. As and when it is passed, we will have a discussion over that. But right now, everybody thought that the century-old issue between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka would end after the Supreme Court verdict, which has not happened. Why? Because it has cropped up again. The latest thing is that Chief Minister of Karnataka, B.S. Yediyurappa, has asked his officials to prepare an action plan for the Mekedatu project, while the Tamil Nadu already has concerns with respect to this project. Now, if you talk about this Mekedatu, it has been in news since 2013, where a lot of traction has come towards the project. The Karnataka government suggests that the Mekedatu project is extremely important for ensuring drinking water and irrigation facilities in Bangalore city and in Ramnagar district. Although the Mekedatu project was suggested way back in 1970s itself, but it has gained a lot of traction in 21st century. So now the Karnataka government is going ahead with the project. If you look at the project details, you will see that Karnataka plans for Mekedatu balancing, where the 2017-18 funding was 5,900 crores. Now it has reached to 9,000 crores. Mekedatu, it is just 110 kilometers from Bangalore, and the Karnataka government says that this particular project is going to solve the problems of drinking water for Bangalore as well as Ramnagar districts. But as soon as the project and the traction towards the project began, Tamil Nadu raised this contention, and recently what has happened is Karnataka Chief Minister Yediyurappa has requested the new Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin not to oppose the Mekedatu project. He has proposed a bilateral meeting to resolve the issues, but in a letter, in a reply to Yediyurappa, M.K. Stalin has reiterated Tamil Nadu's stand on Mekedatu, which is almost a decade-old stance, where they object to the Mekedatu project. They suggest that if the Mekedatu project continues, then it is going to affect the downstream water in Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has right now urged the Karnataka counterpart to scrap the entire Mekedatu project plan, which is, I would say, in the advanced stages of planning and almost near the beginning of implementation phase. So what is going to happen here is going to be really, really interesting. The century-old issue, I would say, the issue that began in 1892, it is still lingering on. And now the new flashpoint is the Mekedatu project. So we'll wait and watch. If any development comes on this, we will bring it to you as soon as possible on Study IQ. But do follow the Mekedatu issue if you're preparing for the state public service examination in Karnataka as well as in Tamil Nadu. With that, let me end my discussion. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.